What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the study session with me, High Thinking, on the Chicago Black Delegation podcast. Like I said, as I stay like last week, I'm gonna be doing a lot more of these streams where I'm kind of just riffing and while studying. I definitely don't claim to be the guy that knows everything, so that's why I want to go ahead and go take the journey, actually record the journey of me, like leveling up intellectually and stuff like that, and essentially keeping up with like current politics. And it's just kind of a way for me to kind of like throw stuff out there, or kind of not just keep the content, not just keep the channel active or anything like that, but just have something out there for people to kind of engage in and like the kind of the day to day things that I may not have time to make a video on. You know what I'm saying, or make a well structured, well edited video. All that said, yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed y'all Juneteenth. I definitely enjoyed mine. I got a lot of rest. I know a lot of people probably don't get that as a off day. I definitely do, so I'm definitely appreciative of that. Um, Unfortunately, some apparently some people don't view this as a legitimate holiday, evidently, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. But yeah, like I said, this type of show is called the study session, where again I don't really do too much. It's not really not too much schedule per se, but I do have like a list of things that I do want to kind of just kind of get into. But like this stuff is not typically gonna come out as like some sort of a content, anything like that, or like I'm not gonna chop it up and make videos out of it. It's more so me just kind of getting a better handle on like whatever topic that I find that kind of catches my interest. Today is gonna be mostly the Juneteenth stuff, mostly the stuff that we kind of see from Chicago's from the raising of the flag for Juneteenth that happened downtown Chicago. So that was I watched all of that, and I'm still currently in the process of watching Chicago's town hall. It's like 6 hours. Sometimes they do be, sometimes they be having these 6 hour council meetings, and I try to get through most of it, if not all of it. But 6 hours or 6 hours, like it's something I have to. That's something you have to like pick up, listen to it for like a couple hours, maybe a few hours, and then like put it down and give it a break. So I don't know, maybe if there's some interesting things that happen in that, I'll just kind of highlight them. Maybe make a shorter video about just highlighting some of the key things that happen in that town hall. Don't Unfortunately, I really wish people was kind of receptive of like those types of that type of content as they would be the Downtown Town Hall meetings. People love the Downtown Town Hall meetings for whatever wild ass reason. Well, okay, the wild ass reason was Tiffany Hayward, but like, but I think Chicago is just a much more important, much more influential place than Dalton, Illinois. No offense to the Daltoniers out there. But that aside, I do want to get to some pretty interesting development that kind of happened. Donald Trump, man. What a guy. Holy shit. Like, listen, man. I've been having a conversation with so many people regarding this guy. Um, and everybody wants to talk about how, oh no, he's like you hear every defense in the book about regarding him as like a non-racist individual. Like you hear all the defenses in the world regarding his how he kind of runs the country, like the whole thing. But it's like, I mean, it's like it gets to a certain point where people gotta just like face facts here, and I get it, they won't, and there's a number of reasons for that, but I don't think any of those reasons are actually like based in any sort of like any consistent principle. You know what I mean? I think people I just got to kind of got to the point that conservatives that still support Donald Trump are just they're just in a place of um like willful ignorance. You know, like they just don't care about like finding the middle ground to things. They don't want to care. They don't want to care that you. They don't care about anything, any of the criticism that's being brought up for Donald Trump. Like the 90% of the time, they're gonna just bring up something that Joe Biden did or Barack Obama did, and they're gonna question you. Why didn't you have anything to say when that happened, when that was brought up? You know, and it's just like it's just gotten annoying at this point, bro. I don't know. It's almost it begins to feel like we're just having pointless conversations. But like I think it's just I think if you are gonna entertain these types of people, you have to be very you have to be, how do I put this? You gotta have very direct questions, the very direct conversations. You know, they have to be very intentional. Otherwise, you're gonna be wasting time. You have to know your not your, but you have to know all as many of the deflective techniques as possible. You have to know how to keep a conversation on track. You have to know how to redirect a conversation from I'm trying. What's the goalpost thing? You have to like know how to call out somebody trying to shift the goalpost and redirect, and then you have to force the conversation back on track. And it's simply, and I know these are kind of just overly generalized like concepts and stuff like that, but essentially what I'm saying is like we have conversations with these people. You have to just make sure you're sticking to the topic, you sticking to the subject. You know what I mean, and don't let them try to move the conversation to another direction in order to deflect against having to concede or take accountability in that conversation. You know what I mean? And you know, and even if you get to the point where they have to admit that you're right about something, they're not going to change their mind. They can't. They won't do it in public, and it just is what it is. In my opinion, there's still some value in having those types of conversations. At the very least, anybody that is principle, anybody that does hold like a consistent principle, logic, and stuff like that, I think they will be able to tell who's the sincere one and who's the serious one in those types of conversations. I mean, and but if nothing else, but if there's nothing else, like the person with these other individuals that okay, what I'm trying to say is, when you're having conversations with these people and they are relying on these deflective tactics and they're trying to avoid accountability and move the goalposts and do all these weird things in these conversations, honestly, the only thing the only thing they have to lose is like their credibility. And what good is their credibility most of the time, you know? But again, if you do have like, if you do see yourself having a future in some level of politics, even if that means going to your town hall meeting and then speaking in front of that microphone in front of like your city's council, knowing how to have these conversations, knowing the talking points, knowing how to counter argue the talking points, it can mean a lot of things for you. You know what I'm saying? So, and I mean a lot of good things. You know what I mean? So like being armed and ready for these types of conversations does have value, and you gain that experience by having these conversations with those individuals. So anyway, I don't want to get too far into this in this rant, which I kind of did already. But in a nutshell, it's good to have these conversations with people, even though they may seem pointless. But it just depends on your where you kind of see yourself, where you kind of see your future. You see yourself in life of politics, you should have to build this experience. If you don't, if your life, if you want to just live your life and in bliss and harmony, and you're gonna want to travel and you want to do all these other this stuff. It doesn't matter to you. It shouldn't matter to you. If shit hits the fan and you got your money in order, just pack your bags up and move to London somewhere or Canada. You'll be just fine. Anyway, let's get back into this content though. Now, Donald Trump. Going back to Donald Trump, I went on this crazy tangent. People defend Donald Trump. That's the whole point I was making in that last rant. People defend Donald Trump's policies, but we're not getting into that right now. And we will though, because I definitely have like some content I want to kind of I want to throw together for something that Destiny said. This YouTuber Destiny he had put together, or he just stated, and I kind of want to research that in front of everybody. But this this understanding that Donald Trump, I'm sorry, what I mean to say is this defense of Donald Trump's like abhorrent and blatant and obvious racism is just it's gotten out of control. And it's like people can try and try and try to like defend and oh he pardoned all these black rappers and stuff like that, and the second chance, the second step back or something like that. I think it's second chance. I kind of forgot what it was. But I'll give him credit for the prison reform idea, that step towards a prison reform. That's pretty neat. Even though a lot of white people could benefit from that type of thing as well. But whatever. But yeah, him like pardoning all these rappers, like those people don't mean anything to me. You know what I mean? I don't really talk too much about like rappers and entertainers like that personally, because I mean honestly I don't really respect them the majority of the time. There's plenty of them that I do like. You know, I think there's some of them that I do. I like what they do. I do like what they do. I like what they do with their voice. I like what they do with their platform. And I'll give some examples like later on, but for the rappers that Donald Trump pardoned, I don't care about those people, you know, like they don't do anything for me, spiritually, emotionally, and they don't do anything for the culture financially. They make these songs, they get popular, and then they spend it on like dumb shit. I mean, that's just how I feel about it. Like check out Diddy, for example. Otherwise, that stuff that Donald Trump is like the things that people give credit to Donald Trump for, it just doesn't make up for the damage he's also causing. I'm not gonna go too far into like some of the things that he's kind of done. I'm kind of just gonna list them. Namely, I mean, I think the one I can give him the most leeway on is him. What is that shit called? Is like him refusing to rent out to black people. And I mean, and like the best defense you can say for that is nobody was. You know what I'm saying? It was like he was just like everybody else, a part of like that redliner thing. So it's like one of those. He had this. I mean, because I know how redlining works. You know, is all the black people were sectioned off from white people, or what I mean to say is, if you live in a certain zone, a certain part of like this, I want to say it's certain part of the city, they were labeled a red zone. That was essentially it would essentially like that would essentially be like the signal for creditors and banks to refuse to lend you money to buy a property and stuff like that. Like it's pretty much just a way to stop black people from moving outside of their territories and their zones. And then Donald Trump was just another person that was involved in that. So I mean, it's really not a defense. Like just saying that he was a part of it. He was a part of something that a whole bunch of other white like bankers, like it was a whole system that participated in redlining. To say that he was just a part of like that problem is not really a great defense at all. But like that's like the most generous thing I can like think of. That's like the most generous thing that's the most generous take I can give him in a situation like that. Otherwise, yes, he was ever so much as racist as the rest of them. But I think the biggest thing is like, I guess if I were to like, if somebody were to put like a something to my head and say and try to defend it for him, I guess I would kind of say, well, he wasn't powerful enough to change the system. And then like where he chose to place those his apartments and stuff like that. It was just so happened to be again a part of that system, part of that Red Atlanta system that he did had that he was every like very much so complicit in. And I don't know, I don't know. And, and again, that's still not a defense. Like and that's the I'm trying so hard to defend this nigga. But besides that, yeah, I mean the what's that shit called the exonerated five. Like he has not apologized for his involvement in incriminating those gentlemen. Um, the what else? About the he had made a I think they asked him about I think it was back in 2016 or back during I think 2016 or 2017 they asked him what does he think about reparations for Black Americans, and he said he don't see it happening. You know what I mean? Um, like the continued attacks against like Barack Obama, you know, and it was like and that possibly being rooted in racism. But now like even like lately, it's been he just went in an overdrive lately, like actual overdrive lately. Like what I don't have to tell you about like the eating cats and dogs comment he made about the Haitians. The fact that only like Latinos are being targeted as far as these ICE raids, like you don't really see anything. I don't see anything going on, like regarding the Ukraine or any of these other races that kind of cross that border. Like it's more than just Haitians and Latinos that cross that border. Like I mean, it was white people as well, but you don't hear about them getting ramshacked and getting their schools being crashed on. I mean, is it because they're adjacent to whiteness? It's harder to like spot them or something like that. Like I guess, but like you gotta like I don't know that whole thing just feels just completely weird to me. But even besides that, like the preferential treatment that he gives the Afrikaners or the South Africans that came over here, like I mean those people aren't being targeted. You know, it's like um they just giving them free shit. You know what I mean, for almost no reason. You know, so and then besides that, oh god damn, it's so much shit. To see like it's the whole attitude towards critical race theory. The dude he don't even know what the fuck it is, and he said he has so much to say about it. Then he makes an executive order, calling it indoctrination of like K through 12 students and stuff. Like he has a whole executive order, um, instructing Congress to start making moves towards getting rid of it. And then there's the DEI thing and the DEI comments they had made over the years. It's like the list goes on and on. And then he had just replaced. He just got rid of Dr. Martin Luther King statue out of that one office. I forgot the name of the office, but like I'm gonna bring it up too. I can't just bring it up as well. I got plenty of time. Like I'm not really. I got plenty of time today, so let me see if I can find it real quick. Um. What are you talking about? Yeah, this is what it is right here. I heart radio. Um, I don't want to. Well, maybe I don't want to use iHeartRadio for a reference. Uh, USA Today. Let's go with this. USA Today reports Martin Luther King Jr. for Winston Churchill. Trump changes up Oval Office. Yeah, okay, it is the Oval Office. I didn't want to misspeak there. So yeah, there's a So here's the picture. Let me see. Let me zoom in real quick. Can I just click on it? Maybe not. Zoom. So yeah, if you can see this, this is Martin Luther King. You know that was in play. That was put in place by Barack Obama back in 2009, and then Donald Trump pretty much replace it with this guy very recently. They just didn't make a statement about it. I don't even know who this is. United States President George W. Bush inspects a bust of Winston Churchill. Yeah, so he's a British ambassador. So I don't know. I guess it's like, oh well. I mean, I guess these people are gonna just trying to say, oh well, Barack Obama shouldn't have replaced this gentleman with Martin Luther King. Uh, nah. I mean, like, bro, if Donald Trump knew any better, he would not replace Donald Martin Luther King because he should know just how instrumental Dr. King was into like the development of this nation's civil rights and stuff, which should be very important to. They quote it every chance they get, so like the least they can do is like keep the statue and all that shit. But otherwise, yeah. I mean, at the very least, they can just make another like fucking desk and then or scoot it to the side and place, this dude back onto that ship if this British ambassador is so important to him. So I don't know. This shit's kind of weird to me, man. And then like I said, that just happened, I believe. Well, at least this was just reported on. When was this reported? I know it was like, was it like last week or was it this week? Well, shit, it was updated June 17th, but I think I heard about this as early as like a couple days ago, maybe a few days ago. But anyway, going into what somebody just said something. Let me see. Juneteenth, a Texas event, is the dumbest holiday. Slavery was still legal in all of the southern states except southern states under the military occupation. Yeah, the December. So I mean, so what you saying? Like they should they should change it to December 6th instead of Juneteenth. That's not that horrible of an idea. But like the thing is, there's a lot of history. A lot of people work really hard for that to be instated. So I'm still in support of Juneteenth, honestly. But like that was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the official date, but like if a bunch of like assholes wanted to like keep that information from Black Americans to make them continue slave work, I mean I wouldn't put that on. I wouldn't put that on the merit of the holiday itself. I think it's okay to celebrate the day that it was decided that slavery was abolished. But if people let me go ahead and reread what you said for a second. Slavery was still legal. Slavery was still legal in the southern states except southern states under military occupation. Well, yeah. So I mean, that's so. Like I said, it's more. Yeah, it's celebrating the emancipation of the I guess military controlled states. But like if the other with any other or as you proclaimed it to be at least, but for all the states that it's not, for all the states that was I guess. I'm gonna have to look into that. I don't exactly know what you because I know there was some states that was still kind of that kind of still separate from the union until they. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that. But like, regardless though, it's still like a celebration of the decision to emancipate or like to free the slaves. So that's what it's really celebrating. Not necessarily celebrating the successful emancipation of all slaves per se. But I mean, I just don't want to. I just understand the argument from the people that's actually supported the Juneteenth holiday, and to hold it back off the strength of like again asshole slave owners that wasn't willing to give up their slaves and all that stuff or give up their livelihood. I don't necessarily want to pigeonhole it to something like that. But I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm down for either. If they want to change the date to December 6th, I'm okay with that, honestly. But like I do think Juneteenth sound better. Anyway. So let's go back to the Donald Trump thing. So let's read what he actually said. Too many non-working holidays in America. It is costing our country billions of dollars to keep all of these businesses closed. The workers don't want it either. Very interesting. Soon we'll end up having a holiday for everyone's. What? Soon we'll end up having a holiday for every once working day of the year. Uh, it must change if we are going to make America great again. Right. Um, check this out, bro. The first thing this dude says is there's too many non-working holidays in America. Okay, says you, nigga. That's your opinion. We've been doing pretty fine. Um, we've been doing pretty okay up until this point until you said some shit like that. Honestly, I've never heard anybody. I've never heard anybody state how much money America is losing because of these paid holidays. And even then, like it's not like only the government holidays are the ones. I'm sorry, only the government jobs are the ones that take advantage of all of the holidays, all the the federal holidays. So there's I don't know, but it's costing the country billions of dollars to keep all of these business closed again. I don't know. You should have posted some kind of stats, some kind of numbers to go along with that. It's hard to trust Republicans when it comes to numbers these days because we saw what Doge promised as far as cutbacks and stuff like how much money it was supposed to save the Americans, and that ended up being a colossal failure. So I mean, and then there's like going off the graphs and stuff like that, we see that every time I think the pattern kind of goes, the Republicans will kind of fuck the economy, then the Democrats would make and state things to actually improve the economy, and then the Republican will get elected, and then he'll fuck the economy again, and then the Democrat will get elected, and then he'll kind of improve it again. It's like this pattern of it's like this what do you call that shit, the seesaw thing? They didn't call it a seesaw like that at the parks. So anyway, the workers don't want it either. I'm like, bro, like you're speaking on behalf of people like paid holidays. Like what worker does like a paid holiday? You know what I mean? Like to say that the workers don't want it either is kind of like it's like extremely like that's I already have a really big problem with like overly generalizing like people's opinions, especially when you kind of speaking for a group. I don't know. I think you should ask whomever told you that workers don't like paid holidays. I think you should ask more workers what do they think about it. I don't know. That's just. I think that's one of the most. I think that's like the dumbest thing he said in this little tweet or what the fuck this is. Soon we'll end up having a holiday for everyone. I mean, yeah, and now we're just going into like snowball like a bunch of shit that he's like fear mongering type of shit. I don't care about this. Nobody cares about this. Workers workers love paid holidays and like nigga like one one paid holiday is just it's not breaking a fucking America. I mean, like what are you talking about? But like the biggest problem in all of this, in all of this is like nigga, you have a history, you have a long history of like racist shit under your name, and then you choose today of all days to say to make a statement like this, like all up and down your little Truth Social post, your little page or whatever. There's no mention of like Happy Juneteenth, but when it comes to like July 4th or Xmas, Thanksgiving, like you'll see Donald Trump, shout out 4th of July and all these other holidays, but he just chooses today to pass this narrative of we need less paid holidays. Like I don't know, it's like she's not even trying anymore. You know what I'm saying? That like him. He's literally not trying anymore to hide his racism. We get it. Like there was like this big thing. What was that shit called? Like during Black History Month, he did this big thing. What's that nigga name? Tiger Woods, and he invited all these black conservatives to the White House and stuff like that. Okay, like we get it. You like black people that support you. Like whatever. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is these not the type of black people that are asking you to do anything for the black community. These are a bunch of like kiss asses. You know, I think the only person that like asked you to do anything was like Kanye, and we all know what happened where that kind of went. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm not. Yeah, I'm not seeing it, bro. There's just no defending this dude no more. Like, and like again, I'm not gonna go into like the how he's running the country right now. I'll do that in a subsequent episode. Maybe this week, maybe not. But yeah, dude. Like I was definitely like on board when he like 4 years ago when he was talking about the platinum plan. Like I was like 1,000% behind. I'm like, okay, well maybe this dude does have some potential, you know. But then we just don't see we haven't heard anything about the platinum plan like since then. And I'm like, if you and the main thing, like the main thing I was like expecting or waiting him to talk about was the platinum. I mean, not even I can't even put it. I wouldn't even put it all on him. Of all the people that he was interviewed by, especially that I forgot what the name of that group was. But like when he did though, when he went to that black journalism event and he was interviewed by that one by those people there, and that's where he made the black jobs comment. He like that was an opportunity for them to ask them about, okay, well, what about a platinum plan? Like, are you still gonna make that a part of your agenda? And then there was no mention of that. You know, he never was pressed about the platinum plan. He was never really properly pressed about Project 2025 either. And there's a lot of things in that as a part of that plan that will like severely disenfranchise Black Americans. So how is Trump racist? Bro, I just kind of explained it like for the past like 10 minutes. So I mean, you can just rewind it if you want to, but like basically, I mean, dating back to when he was just running that little company and not allowing the black people to like to live in his little apartments and shit like that. Like it kind of dates back to that, which I gave him some credit. That was just a product of redlining, which he was a complicit in, and it's not even a proper defense. You know what I'm saying? But yes, he I mean, he was complicit in a redlining situation that happens to especially Black Americans. But besides that, like we can go straight to like the latest situations, such as him removing the Dr. Martin Luther King statue from the Oval Office and replaced it with some British ambassador. And then like his constant attacking of like CRT, which is simply just Black history, calling it indoctrination and something like that. And then he removed all of all these Black artifacts. I mean, he removed the entire I believe it was the entire African American slavery exhibits from the Smithsonian. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so much shit that he did with his own pen that disenfranchised Black Americans. So it's like, yes, so he's definitely in that racist camp at this point. And again, and like the point I was just specifying, that I was just explaining, he had a lot of opportunities to bring up the platinum plan, which was going to be a great investment to the Black community. You know what I mean? And he hasn't spoken of that since 2016. So it's like, as far as I'm concerned, he's effectively forgotten about us, and he's only going to help out those Black Americans that are loyalists to him. And I don't think anybody needs to be surrounded by loyalists. That never made any sense to me. You need to be surrounded by people that has no problem in holding you accountable. Like the last thing anybody should want is to surround themselves up with a bunch of yes men. You surround yourself with a bunch of yes men, those people are going to allow you to make mistakes, and they're going to allow you to make an ass of yourself. And it's going to allow for people across the internet to hold you accountable instead. So that's on him, bro. If you want to, I mean, if anybody here wants to like believe the inverse, gee, that's on y'all, man. So that's Donnie. That's Donnie for now. I want to kind of move on to the Juneteenth stuff. that happened in Chicago. So we got a few things. We got a few things we got to read here. So I'm gonna start off with the top. Let me see. First, we're gonna respond. Well, first we're gonna react to. I think one of the main guys. I forgot his name though. We're gonna react to. I gotta remember his name. We're gonna remember his name when he comes up. But anyway, we're gonna react to the founder or the leader of the reparations task force in Chicago, and then we're gonna later react to Brandon Johnson and what he asked and what he's gonna set forth as far as reparations. How would I describe that? Well, we're gonna listen to him speak on the agenda that he has planned for Chicagoans, especially those living in the Chicago South and West suburbs, South and West sides. So, let's check it out.
All the people that I see, Alderwoman Haddon, and I think I saw Harris somewhere as well. Thank you so much, and also all the commissioners and department heads that I see here. So further ado, I'm here along with all the people that I see, Alderwoman Haddon, and I think I saw Harris somewhere as well. Thank you so much, and also all the commissioners and department heads that I see here. Thank you so much for being with us today. And without further ado, Alderman Yancey.
It's a celebration, y'all. Let's give it up. If you'll indulge me for a moment, we're going to do a little call and response, but I'm going to be brief because, you know, electeds like to talk a little bit. So say, I am beautiful. I am powerful. I am strong. I am resilient. And I am free. Before I get started, I want to honor my colleagues who are here. Here's my list. I see Cook County Commissioner Tara Stamps, City Treasurer Melissa Conyers-Irvin, Representative Kimberly Neely Dubaclay, and then members of the Chicago Aldermanic Black Caucus. Those who are present, I see Alderwoman Haddon, Alderwoman Clay, Alderwoman Taylor, Alderman Hall, and Alderwoman Harris. And then I thought I saw Chairman Vasquez around just a few moments ago. So this is not just about us. This is about all of us. Amen. So again, it is an honor to stand before you as Alderman of the 5th Ward from Chicago's amazing, wonderful, beautiful, powerful, and resilient South Side, full of communities that are rich in culture, resilience, and history. From South Shore to Woodlawn, Greater Grand Crossing, and Hyde Park. It don't get no better than that, y'all. But I'm especially proud to join you this morning as we commemorate Juneteenth, a day of reflection, resistance, and celebration, and recognize the progress of Chicago's Reparation Task Force. Today is about more than honoring freedom. It's about working together to repair the present and build a future rooted in equity, dignity, and justice. On the South Side and in black communities across Chicago, we know firsthand what generations of systemic disinvestment have looked like. We've lived through the consequences of redlining, predatory lending, educational disparities, health disparities, mass incarceration, and unequal access to all the things. These aren't abstract policies.
Let me write that down real quick because I want to research these things a little bit later on. My bad, y'all.
But I'm especially proud to join you this morning as we commemorate Juneteenth, a day of reflection, resistance, and celebration, and recognize the progress of Chicago's Reparation Task Force. Today is about more than honoring freedom. It's about working together to repair the present and build a future rooted in equity, dignity, and justice. On the South Side and in black communities across Chicago, we know firsthand what generations of systemic disinvestment have looked like.
I just wrote down systemic disinvestment.
We've lived through the consequences of redlining, predatory lending, educational disparities,
Education disparities.
Health disparities, mass incarceration.
Health disparities. Mass incarceration, right?
And unequal access to all the things. These aren't abstract policy failures. These are lived realities, etched in the lives, the daily lives of Black Chicagoans across generations. As Alderman of the Fifth Ward, I've worked with the community and the city to renovate and reinvigorate our communities. In South Shore, we have a $5.5 million investment in the future home of the South Shore Chamber of Commerce. We've invested millions of dollars in Greater Grand Crossing with the Exchange Project, which is home to Chicago's 211 system and has reinvigorated a community that has long been forgotten. And I'm working to pass the South Shore Housing Ordinance, or commonly known as the South Shore CBA, so that we can protect and promote Black housing, Black home ownership, and Black folks. Continuing this work that we owe to our elders, those that marched and sacrificed on the front lines of the civil rights movement, and we owe it to the next generation, those who are stepping up into leadership, because they're looking to us to lay a foundation of justice that they can build upon. So together with my colleagues on the City Council, I look forward to working very closely with Mayor Johnson and the Mayor's Office of Equity and Racial Justice to continue advancing this mission. So in the words of Curtis Mayfield, let's keep on pushing and pushing forward, because Chicago cannot afford to simply talk about equity. We got to live it, we have to deliver it, and we have to be it. So with that, it is my great pleasure to introduce Chief Equity Officer Carla Coupe.
Okay.
Wix gives you the freedom to tell your story.
I did wanna write down what they succeeded in, but I'll just do that a little bit. I don't want to.
All right. Thank you so much, Alderman Yancey, for your kind words. Again, Mbote, as was just mentioned, my name is Carl Coupe, and I have the honor and responsibility to serve as our city's Chief Equity Officer in the Office of Equity and Racial Justice. Today, as we gather to commemorate a historic celebration that honors the long journey toward equity and dignity, we are also called to reclaim this moment together. In the face of fear and uncertainty, communities are rising with resilience, transforming adversity into action, and reclaiming that power to shape a future that is just for all. This is not new to our communities or our office. In fact, moments like today are what initiated our healing efforts. As many of you recall, in 2020, Chicago, along many other cities across the country, was suffering from the trauma on a number of fronts, including the disparate impact of COVID-19 on the Black and brown communities, and the civil unrest in the wake of the murder of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and others, and many others. The pandemic and the response to injustices revealed that the lasting impact of 400 years of racist policies that have denied people of color and their communities fair access to resources and power. Rooted in stolen lands, stolen labor, and racial zero-sum thinking, these harms are still embedded in our systems today. In response, our office co-led a practice of collective healing throughout the years as part of our Together We Heal initiative. From holding community conversations to investing in community healing, we made sure to provide Chicago with tools and space for transformative healing. Our approach to the collective work of healing is very simple. Reflect on our past, reclaim our present, and reimagine our future. And our office has committed to build and strengthen sustainable community and wealth building.
Oh, 1 second. Oh, for some reason, I think I see. Oh, okay, dude, what the hell? So for some reason, my side chat, I guess, okay, that's weird. I'm just not getting y'all chats, bro. I don't even know how this even happened. Like I'm looking at, I got my little side panel here that's supposed to have the chats on the side here, but like now it's but it's like showing on a restream, but it's not showing my chat. Let me read these chats real quick so I can kind of answer y'all questions. You are so delusional. You're a race hustler and a black supremacist. Not really. Juneteenth. Uh, it's the dumbest holiday. Yeah, we talked about that already. You're an actual racist. Your hate blinds you. Meanwhile, Chicago is a shithole. Marxist shithole. That's not true. Let me see if I can actually respond to this. I'm an actual racist. I mean, I don't know. You got to like explain how my racist, bro. Like, I don't really see. I don't see what anything I said it was like remotely racist. Your hate blinds you. Meanwhile, Chicago is a shithole, a Marxist shithole. I mean, I don't think we can say Chicago is necessarily a shithole. Understanding that how much. Let me kind of show you something. Regarding Chicago being a shithole, I guess. And I think if I can like guess what you're getting at, it's more so regarding like the crime statistics. So let me just see. Let's check something out real quick. United, because I actually don't know, right? I actually don't know. This like how Chicago ranks as far as like violence and throughout the United States. So let me just, because I do know like if we kind of figure in like the size of the city, let's kind of take that to consideration first. Like I know there's like the size of the city will play a part into like this overall crime statistics, and you have to kind of have to go off into like a per capita type of conversation. But I don't know if there's any data that kind of suggests like that takes in consideration like the per capita basis of the crime statistics. But let's just see where Chicago ranks anyway. United States cities ranked by crime rates. Okay. So Memphis, Tennessee, Oakland, California, St. Louis, that's top 3. Baltimore, Detroit, Los Angeles, Cleveland, Ohio, New Orleans, Monroe, Pueblo, Anniston, Little Rock, Arkansas, Myrtle Beach, Tacoma, Birmingham, Alabama, Atlantic City, Cameron, Springfield, yeah, it's not Illinois, Albuquerque, Kansas City, Louisville, Canton, Dayton, Milwaukee, Minneapolis. Where's the rest of it? These the safest? No, these got to be like the most dangerous. Okay, so let's go to safest places. I just want to know this part. Johns Creek, Centerville, Newton, Rochester, Fishers, Cameron, Weston, Flower Mound, Arlington Heights, Illinois. I know where that is. Laguna Nigel, Nigu. I can't read that. Burke, Apex, Naperville, Illinois. That's really close. Palatine. That's near Chicago as well. They don't really go that far down because I do want to know, like, how do I, like, is there, can I show more, like, maybe I should let me just go to a different site, I guess. I'm on the 35. Yeah, this is May 29th, 2025. Number of violent crimes by city. Okay, well, I guess Chicago is now 3rd. Oh, these are violent crimes. Violent crimes, top 25 violent crimes per 100,000 people. So this is a different. Anniston, Alabama, Bessemer, Espanola, East St. Louis, Belmid, Florida City, Monroe, McKeeper, St. Louis, Detroit, Baltimore, Memphis, Flint, Fairland, Pine Bluff. Yeah, bro. Chicago's not even on this list. Violent crime for as far as top 25 violent crimes. Murder. Okay, well there we go. That's what y'all. If this we mean by shithole, I guess. But number of murders per city. So this is the other thing I want to take into consideration. This how big is Chicago compared to. You got to look at like the population size after that point. So we'll get back to that. Murders per 100. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like murders per 100,000 people. Like this is more. This like takes into account like it takes into account like the population density of these cities, because like I said, Chicago is freaking huge. Chicago is much more. It's a lot bigger than. Well, we'll get to the bottom because I actually don't know like the population, numbers regarding these other cities in comparison to Chicago. I feel like Los Angeles is about as big as Chicago. We'll get to that. But yeah, murders per 100,000 people: St. Louis, Chester, Vena Park, Helena, West Helena, Arkansas, Fairville, St. Louis, Anderson, Gary, McKeeper. I'm gonna skip some of these: Ferguson, Pine Bluff, Maywood, Detroit. Like, Chicago's not on this list. Then you have this. So yeah, so like the hard numbers is up there with Chicago. Like it's just up there, and there's no denying that. But like when it comes to like the per 100,000 people, like the per capita conversation, yeah, Chicago's not on this list. Even with all those people, even with all those immigrants that came through, like it's not listed per 100,000 people. Robberies, Chicago. Yet again, Chicago is very well represented when you go off of raw numbers. But when it comes to per capita or per 100,000 people by city, Chicago is not on this list. You know what I'm saying? Aggravated assault, Chicago is number 3rd. New York is going crazy in that regard. But yet again, Chicago is not listed on the 100 as far as per 100,000 people, 25 most dangerous cities, and these are like raw numbers, I guess. It says average of violent crime rates as percentages of United States race for same crimes. Cleveland, Camden, Chicago's not even listed here. It's not even listed here. So I don't know, bro. I mean, if you want to go off of like raw numbers, because like Chicago is such a big city, I mean, you can call it a shithole country in that regard, I guess. But I think the more intelligent conversation to have is going off of going off of like the per capita basis. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I'm just trying to give. What up, Skill? Listen, bro. I'm trying to give these people a chance, bro. I'm just trying. I'm trying to be a very nice streamer. Maybe even too nice. But I'm just, I'm just trying to give them a chance, bro. But yeah, I'm apparently. So yeah, Chicago. So we already proved how Chicago is like not a shithole. I mean, unless you want to go off of those raw numbers. But again, that's not a fair comparison. Understand how big Chicago is. I know I'm not a racist. Like, I don't think you know what a racist is. I'm very much so equality equity based thinker. Izilio asked me, am I a Democrat? No, I'm not a Democrat. Bro, don't get me started on the Democrats. I do not like Democrats. But I think Republicans are much worse. So, if that answers your question, I'm very much so an independent. Whomever speaks my language the best, not my language, but whomever speaks to me the nicest is the people I will vote for. I don't care what political party they're affiliated with. How is Trump racist? I discussed that. A majority of Black and Latino voters turned out for Trump. No, actually just a majority of Latino male voters turned out for Trump. Most Black men voted for Kamala. Most Black women voted for Kamala. Extreme majority of Black people voted for Kamala. And then Latinos, like I said, Latino women voted for Kamala majority, and then but yes, you're right about the Latino male voters voting for Donald Trump. So, but that's the only thing you're right about with that one. Moving MLK Jr. statues from the Oval Office to the Obama placed it to a private diner is racist. Oh yes, it's I would say it's very much so an act of racism. There is no loyalist groups of supporters that Trump directly endorses. There is no loyalist group of supporters. I mean, yeah, you can't. I mean, yeah, of course, Donald Trump can't support like the. He can't like. He cannot openly support like the Klan. He can't openly support any of these other like adjacent like white supremacist groups. Like that one, that's just bad optics. Like why would a politician like doing like endorse something like that when they're trying to win a what's the name? When they're trying to win an election. Like that wouldn't even make any sense. Skill says calling you a racist is insane. It's so painful watching others project their insecurities onto somebody else. Don't listen to the ignorant people. You're doing the Lord's work. Keep it up. I appreciate you, Skillmonger. Like I said, bro. I like to think that answering these people's questions as openly and honestly as I possibly can is the Lord's work. But at the same time, I very much so understand the sentiment of people just want to be distractions sometimes. So I don't know why my side panel is not showing all of these comments. I guess it's just filtering them. I guess, okay, you know what this, okay, I found it. Okay, that was on me. I guess when you go to, I had like the chat filter on or something like that for some reason. Why do they do, YouTube is just, I don't know. YouTube must think I'm some kind of a wussy or whatever. Okay, so let me pull this thingy back up. Where is it? Okay, there it is. Put this back over here, and I'm just gonna keep an eye on it a little bit. Okay, so back to our early scheduled programming. So we was kind of middle of this young lady talking about thingies. Let's get back to it.
Ecosystems in Chicago throughout community wealth building initiatives that you will hear about shortly. But today, we continue our commitment to healing, equity, and power sharing, and that will never change. And I'm excited that I can continue to drive similar commitments that drive reparative and healing efforts. Last year, around this same time of the year, we announced our commitment to establish a reparations task force that will define reparations for Chicago through a comprehensive study. Acknowledging generational harm through the form of reparations is about repairing the past and reimagining tomorrow. That is why this task force will launch a study designed to lay out a clear roadmap to reparations in Chicago. A roadmap rooted in community voices and historical truth, and one that points us toward the kinds of transformative policies we need. Policies that shift power to those most impacted. Now, this work is not easy, but it excites me to share this space and this responsibility with people as committed as you all here today. Thank you everyone for showing up today and every day. Let's continue to shape the future of Chicago together, one that is rooted in repair and prosperity. And now it is my honor to pass this on to the Honorable Mayor Brandon Johnson.
Okay, I want to. Okay.
If you're someone who uses a CPA to save money on taxes, listen up.
Okay, I want to say this real quick. What you said was like super duper dope, obviously. But what I do want to mention is I want to mention this. Like I don't know. I'm calling people out. Like, and I do this. Maybe I do this a little bit too often. But what they're doing here, with these people that none of us have ever seen before, what they're doing here is actual reparations work. You know what I mean? This is what reparations now. This is what hashtag reparations now should be looking like. Everybody that share these hashtags reparations now. This is this type of stuff you should be sharing. You're not supposed to be sharing like this, with the crazy thing Tariq Nasheed is talking about, the debate he had with some white supremacist or what. No, with those internet entertainers and shit like that, they're not making any actions happen. They're not doing anything productive towards the fight towards reparations. So if you want to actually make a difference, make something actually happen, actually move the needle from being ignored to actually for reparations to actually happen, you have to start not just again, not just sharing this stuff and stuff, but yes, reading this stuff, also sharing it, but also getting involved. You know what I mean? Do whatever you can to assist these people in this fight towards in this race towards reparations. You know, and it's really good to see like people actually put boots to the ground as far as like I said, making this sort of thing happen. And it's like we're so far past, like so far ahead of just talking about it and actually watching people like put money together and watching the mayor that's so supportive of it. It's a really good thing to see, bro. Like I couldn't be more proud of like what I'm seeing so far. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Grateful to be here today, and I'm grateful that all of you are joining us today on such an incredible moment in our world's history. Thank you to our Chief Equity Officer, Carla Coupe, for her leadership and her unwavering commitment to equity and justice. I'm grateful to all of the members of the City Council that are here today, the City Council's Black Caucus, to our state elected leaders, our county leaders, including grateful to have our city treasurer here, Melissa Conyers-Irvin, to all of the department leaders that are reflective of this administration. I also want to thank the Juneteenth Planning Coalition, and again, all of the city departments and community partners for joining us as we raise the Juneteenth flag. You know, Juneteenth holds great historic relevance and significance here in Chicago. But it is also significant for our entire country because it offers us an opportunity to reflect on where we've come from, but more importantly, where we're headed. You know, we often talk about being descendants of slaves. But the truth is we are descendants of free men and women who were enslaved.
Very much so. I appreciate that Freeman name drop, but let's continue.
We are the descendants of artists and doctors and leaders and engineers and intellectuals, farmers, workers, mothers and fathers, people who were put in chains and forced to struggle for our collective freedom. We are told that Juneteenth is a holiday to celebrate those who were free. That's not entirely accurate either. As W.E.B. Du Bois taught us, as enslaved people, we fought to free ourselves. So this is just as much of a recognition as we honor our collective struggle. Here's what we did, though. We threw down our tools and we picked up arms and joined the Union Army. We fled the plantations and then we organized the most effective general strike in America's history to force the Confederacy to surrender. It is up to us to continue that ongoing struggle, to fight for the liberation that we all need and deserve. During the Great Migration, my family, like many other families, came to the North and landed in the city called Chicago and fought to secure a better life for posterity. And because of that sacrifice and hard work, we are leading the third largest city in the entire country. Our work is paying off.
I want to comment on that. What he's saying there. This is what people need to understand about this city. Like we oftentimes hear about the crime rate, and we hear about the kids in downtown doing weird wild stuff like looting and stuff like that. Like we get it. Even though the crime rate is nowhere near as bad when you kind of consider like the per capita basis. When you kind of check out the stats per like 1,000. I mean, when you check out the crime rate, the crime statistics per 1,000 people, you will see that the things that those rankings actually tell a much different story. And I think something like that should be taken into consideration when you're discussing Chicago's crime rates. And even then, even with that considered, it's already reported that Chicago has seen a significant drop in the crime statistics since last year. So I think that's something that we should be taking into consideration as well. So I'm relatively proud of Brandon Johnson regarding his response and his leadership in the response of Chicago's crime rate. So, but I want to show y'all something else as well, because this is like we keep hearing about people trying to tell people. We keep hearing about people trying to tell us how bad of a city Chicago is or whatever like that, how much of a shithole it is and stuff like that. I want to see something real quick. I want to show y'all something real quick. Pitting the text on the map for Ferdinand, who pays federal change at the time. So share highest and lowest earners. I should have had this ready. I ain't gonna lie to you. Average federal checks raised by states. Let's hold on a second. Federal tax revenue by state. Which states rely the most on federal aid? Highest tax rates. These 25 counties are paying the most on federal. No, not the counties. I'm the cities, bro. Give me a second. Federal tax revenue by state. So Illinois grossest collections is $200 million, over $200 million, right? What places? So California grosses. Wait, what is this? What does the number indicate? Oh, okay. This is 50, okay. But yeah. Does it? I wonder if it explains these percentages. Maybe not. Anyway, so yeah, Chicago pays over $200 million in federal taxes. California gives up 800 million, which is another blue state. Let's see another outlier here. 120,000, 183 million. New Jersey, I believe that's a blue state as well. New York, $834 million. I think that's second place, which is also a blue state. To Ohio, is Ohio a blue state? Let me see. Culture, government, and politics. Current governor is okay. So this may be a red state. Let me look it up. I want to know for sure. Yeah, so Ohio is definitely a red state. So okay, there you go, Republicans. I'm a fair, I'm a fair guy. You know what I mean? I'll give you credit where credit is due. So we got Texas. Texas is definitely a red state. So I think so. Texas is second place. New York is third. Chicago is fourth. And yeah, that's it. So yeah, I don't think a state that contributes this much money, $200 million towards the federal revenue, is a real shithole. You know what I mean? I don't really see it. And for those people that's saying they think they kind of got me on, oh well, it's this that's the state. What about the city of Chicago? Like you like, you kids yourself if you think that the majority of this money is not coming from from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So let me see. While it's not possible to pinpoint a specific city in Illinois that contributes the absolute most in federal taxes, as it's not publicly tracked in the city, Chicago likely contributes the most due to its large population and high concentration of businesses and high income earners. According to a study from Money Geek, Illinois as a whole sends more federal tax dollars than it receives back, and Chicago's economy activity heavily influences that dynamic, according to Axios. Like, bro, like, property tax in Chicago is it strongly dwarfs like the property taxes in other neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Or in other counties. It's just that's just what it is. You know, other cities in Illinois. So not only that, but you know, just looking at like the downtown area, how much tourism that attracts, like bro, you name it, like. Yes, Chicago is the place that, you know, generates the most, like a shit ton of income that they hand over to the federal government. Like, honestly, if all the blue states separated from the union, like, we low key be we'll be in a much better state. But it's just that, like, the lower, like the less well off states, such as like majority of the red states, is just, I mean, they'll be SOL. Like, anybody that wants a fucking fire been put out, they'll likely have to move to a blue state. Anyway, so let's get back to this video. Here we go.
Juneteenth is a reminder that freedom is a constant struggle. The second that we stop fighting for it, we will lose it. And during the first year of my administration, I made it very clear, made a promise to drive reparations and become the first mayor in the city of Chicago to actually dedicating funding to that endeavor.
You know how important that is? You know how important that is for the people of Chicago, especially the Black Americans of Chicago? Like that should mean a lot. And I mean a ton. And what I will say is this. For him to make that type of a promise, and for other individuals in the city to be okay with that, to actually be brave enough to vote him in, with that being on his campaign, one of his agendas, I don't know what to say. That's actually speaks to a lot towards the people of Chicago, as far as seeking actual equity. For the people in Chicago, especially for Black Americans, for the descendants of slaves. So like for those individuals that saw that he's a great fit for mayorship, and especially with something like that on the agenda, I only got nothing but respect for everybody, not just Black, that voted for Brandon Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. That takes a level of like actual equity takes a level of sacrifice, you know. And I don't know what to say. I just very much so appreciate and respect those individuals that can look past their own self interest and understand just how important this is towards the people of Chicago. Because the thing is, what people don't seem to understand is this reparations agenda isn't just necessarily going to be impact or improving the lives of Black Americans in Chicago, but it's also going to be improving the lives of Chicagoans as a whole. If for no other reason, but investing money into like the disenfranchised parts of the community, and so that and place them in a position where they'll be able to be more self-reliant, self-sufficient, and essentially happier with like what's simply having more money and more ways to self-regulate and turn to opportunities that's not akin to violence or that is devoid of violence. I mean, what else are we like? What are we talking about here? Like more like opportunities beget. Poverty begets violence, and poverty is essentially a offshoot of lack of opportunities. Once you inject opportunities into a impoverished community, then like that opens up, like I said, that opens up opportunities for, again, different things, different methods of let's say self-sustainment that has nothing to do that is void of violence, which again, this is gonna bring up. I mean, it's gonna bring up the essentially. It's not just gonna bring up the morale of the city. It's also gonna invite investors and our talented bunch from. It's essentially gonna invite them to revisit the city, revisit their hometowns, and start making those investments because they now have the what's the word? They now have the confidence that they can create something in these formerly impoverished cities, violent filled communities and stuff like that, and then make some great changes for that area. I mean, like I said, when you increase opportunities, you mitigate the violence. When you mitigate the violence, you drive up the confidence in investors. And when you create confidence in investors, that creates opportunities for the people that's gonna essentially skyrocket the economy of that neighborhood. Then they can eventually get to the point where we won't need those investors, and we can start just simply building for ourselves. Like all of this stuff is like a big cycle of like good, and doing something like instilling reparations into the communities of disenfranchised people. It can only mean good things for the city of Chicago. So I mean, like I said, people need to start looking at it. People need to start looking at equity in that light instead of like how dare these people ask for handouts. You feel what I'm saying?
Reparations is not just an acknowledgement of our past. Reparations is an acknowledgement of the past sins and how it's more important now than ever that we continue to fight for complete liberation. But we see the sins of the past and the vestiges of slavery still seep its way through our economy and through government. We see it more clearly now than ever before. The legacy of slavery in America is obvious to anyone who actually cares to pay attention.
Let me stop right there. So some people may be confused about this quote of those that pay attention. Like, I'm sure he can elaborate more, but I can make it relatively simple for those individuals that think they know it all. Simply stated, when you go through a 400 plus years of being held back, if it's not flat out chattel slavery, it's the ramifications of Jim Crow laws. It's the inability to generate generational wealth by way of being unable to access fair housing agreements and FHA loans. And then there's predatory lenders and stuff like when the whole system is racist against a specific group of people, that spells that means that it creates a situation where capitalism, and I don't have the biggest problem with capitalism, but it creates a situation where capitalism will not, it simply is not serving everybody. It's not a fair game anymore. You think of it like a game of Monopoly. Think of like Monopoly where it's like four of you, and then 3 players get 5 turns, but you have to wait 5 turns before you're able to play the game, right? Or maybe I can be more fair about it. Let's say 3 turns. Let's say they give you they have a 3-turn head start on you. On their turn, on their 3rd turn, you can start playing the game. However, you cannot buy property on your first 2 turns. You know what I'm saying? You can't collect any money, or you collect half money for anything for the first 2 turns. Like what else? You can only purchase certain properties for the first 2 turns, or for your first 3 turns actually. So it's like, you gotta understand, like, this capitalism game. Capitalism isn't necessarily bad on paper, but it's bad when you actually apply the injustices. You know what I mean? So with Brandon Johnson, him saying that, for those that pay attention, this is what we simply mean. You know what I mean? The economy needs to work for everybody in order for it to be fair. And what that means is, like, the generational wealth needs to be on par with everybody. Everybody should have everybody that has set foot on this nation should have an equal shot at wealth, and that's not just starting. How do I put this? It's not just starting with you. It should be started with, like, your ancestors, every generation that has influenced this nation's economy. You know what I mean? Specifically bad, and I'm not talking about. I probably don't want to say that, but each of your ancestors, each of the generations of your family that did labor in this country. So this country benefits where all of those people should have an equal shot at establishing wealth for not just themselves, but also their kin. And Black Americans have been uniquely Black Americans have uniquely been held back in terms of having this fair shake at the economy. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he means by actually paying attention. You know what I mean? So for those of us that don't get it, you know what I mean? That's what he's referring to here.
The Confederacy is certainly alive, and we can feel and see the pulse of the Confederacy manifest in the Donald Trump administration. But we also can feel the heartbeat of America that still beats for justice. The heartbeat for justice still remains strong. We saw it this weekend with millions of people taking it to the streets to fight for justice. We see it in the faith leaders who are standing up for the basic tenets of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We see it in the diversity of our strength. We see it in the unity and the power that we are fully embracing today. Because diversity is truly our strength. Unity is the most powerful weapon in the face of hate and division. And that's why I was proud to have signed the Executive Order 2024-1, establishing a reparations task force to develop a Black reparations agenda.
And that is monumental for the people of Chicago, but especially, yes, for those of us that have been heavily negatively impacted by by essential, I mean, this nation's history of slavery, this nation's history of racism, not just slavery, but also racism. And I want to say this too, like we went like a long time. I don't want to go too far into this, but there's a lot of individuals that's making a lot of noise regarding Brandon Johnson's inability or inaction in serving the black community, you know. And this is a direct response to those individuals. You know, like this stuff has been underway for a long time, and things have been happening this entire time. It's just that those people just weren't having the right conversations with the right people. This task force is not like brand new. You know, it's not the first day that that it's not the first time we've seen them either. It's just that they kind of, I mean, have they been laying low? Maybe, but I think the biggest problem is these people, like these people that want to just talk about the migrants and I mean, mind you, I understand the sentiment, and I was very like apprehensive of Brandon Johnson's response to this influx of immigrants and migrants and stuff and things of that nature. But I'm also not gonna turn a blind eye to his response to what he's been doing for the black community as well. And mind you, like this problem, this situation of the migrants, it landed on our doorstep. It wasn't a part of the initial agenda. The initial agenda was very much so rooted in equity and service towards not just Black Americans, obviously, but for every Chicagoan, every Chicago citizen. So I want everybody to just kind of keep these all, like, just look at take a holistic view as far as Mayor Brandon Johnson's tenure, you know.
For serious tax problems, business owners trust the tax law team with the right experience and a great reputation. Tax Law Offices is A+ accredited with Better Business, and we have the best team in the industry. Trust experience, trust reputation.
The Reparations Task Force will be responsible for producing not just a study for reparations, but it will outline remedies for repair, focus on wealth building, housing, education, health equity, and so much more.
Okay, so I want to talk about this for a split second. For all of you people, especially you FBA niggas, and maybe some of you ADOS guys as well, but I like ADOS. For all y'all that's try to say, oh, the study has been done already, we don't need a study, we need reparations now, y'all waste of time, please shut the fuck up. Like, stop doing that. Like, just stop doing that. Like, you're distracting everybody. You're distracting everybody that's actually taking this conversation serious, so that we can actually get the proper amount that is entitled to us. That with all things considered, like, cut that shit out immediately, because you're literally wasting everybody's time. If you're gonna everybody that receive reparations, whether it's off the strength of ethnicity, or it's off of like individual things that kind of happened, that was inflicted on individual or smaller individual groups. Smaller groups. Yeah, there was studies that had to happen beforehand. Like, we just get over it. You know what I mean? Let Chicago, let Mayor Johnson, let the Reparations Task Force, of any city for that matter, perform their studies. Be patient. It's gonna be worth the wait. I'll guarantee it.
And we are proud that this week we will be announcing the Chicagoans who will serve on that task force. Together, we will define a bold and just reparations.
So okay, I got to take that back then. So they haven't. So maybe they are. Okay, I understand that. I got it wrong. So this is a new agenda, or it's not a new agenda, but this is he's now acting upon an agenda that he had set forth when he initially ran. Okay, so I'll give him credit for that. Okay, my bad. I'll take that back. My bad.
Roadmap for all of Chicago. I do understand that there are members of the task force, some of whom that are here today. They're here this morning in show of their complete support of this effort. Could you all who are part of the task force just stand up so that you can be acknowledged for your dedication and services? Please give these incredible Chicagoans a round of applause. I want to be very clear here. When we talk about reparations, we are not talking about something that is far off in the distant future. There is work we can do today to repair the harms of the past and build a better future for posterity. We know that historic disinvestment by government and private sector has left too many of our communities, particularly the South and West Side neighborhoods, without control of the assets in our own communities, excluding us from wealth building and opportunities.
Very important.
And that is why today, in collaboration with the Department of Planning and Development, under the leadership of Commissioner Sierra Boatwright, we are proud to announce a historic $4 million investment into community wealth building in the greatest city in the world, the city of Chicago.
That's good.
The Wealth Our Way Capital Grant Program. It will be administered by Community Desk Chicago. It will fund community-driven wealth building models designed by the very communities that they serve.
Yeah. This is so. Okay, I'm gonna let them cook for a little bit while longer. I really want to respond though, but I'm gonna let them cook.
With up to $500,000 in capital grants per project and $3.5 million reserved for shared ownership models, the investment will put economic power directly in the hands of the community that have been affected by historic slavery.
Very good. Very good. So yeah, this is a maybe an interesting take for some people. This decision essentially to put the reparation into the wealth of the communities rather than the pockets of the people. Okay, and I never really thought of it that way before. And I know there's a lot of different type of conversations surrounding how reparations should be handled, whether it be just flat cash payments or like investment to the education or like maybe some sort of tax incentives or some to that nature. I don't know. The conversations are rather extensive. But I do like the idea of the money going towards, again, the wealth of the community. Because this is like I want to say, I could be wrong about this, but I want to say this is how you make it as how do I put this? This is how you make it as attractive as it possibly can get for individuals that won't specifically be positively impacted, directly be positively impacted by this sort of legislation, these sort of grants. If you're going to get a grant that's not going to be, well, I don't know if it's going to be. Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that soon about where the grant is coming from. But yeah, for them to use this money to essentially uplift the community rather than the individuals themselves, I think that's a really good angle to take as far as getting this to actually be a worthwhile endeavor or an endeavor that benefits more than just the Black community or the communities that it specifically serves. And I think that's a good thing. I truly think this is a relatively good take because, like, look, worst case scenario, if let's say let's say Chicago just like they came up with this reparations package and they just put the money into the people's hands. Like, look, and I know what people were gonna say about this. Like, yes, if we can just give people a check and let them do what they want with a check, that's fair. And yeah, obviously that will be fair. But like, I mean, when you're a mayor of Chicago, you have to look out for the city of Chicago, not just one particular group. Like Brandon Johnson's already gonna be seen as he's already gonna be labeled as a racist when it comes to this in general. You know, he's already gonna be like somebody just called me a racist in the chat and had no reason to call me a racist. But if he's gonna be investing into a community that has notoriously been disinvested in, and he's still gonna be labeled a racist, then what else what are we talking about? Like, I'm gonna say it like this. This is like the most healthiest middle ground approach to reparations that I can think of. Because again, if we put the money into the pockets of the people and let them do what they want with that money, it's, how can I put this? Like the growth potential of those communities is going to be limited as opposed to in comparison to this approach. And I know it's going to be, I guess it's going to be, I can see that being annoying to hear or problematic to hear by a lot of us, because again, we rather just take the check. I get it. But if you care, but Brandon Johnson is essentially, he's the mayor of Chicago. He's not just the mayor of black people. You know what I mean? And I do still see with this opportunity, with this angle, I still see great potential for Chicagoans. Especially Black American Chicagoans or Black Chicagoans, what you want to call it. I still see the great potential in that. It's just going to require them to actually roll up their sleeves and then make that that investment into their communities blossom into something that's great. And I think the wise individuals in the community will at least understand. They will understand their assignment. They will understand the assignment. It's not just going to be a thing where you put money in these people's pockets and then they just do fuck all with it. I mean, the worst case scenario, they take the money and then move somewhere else. You know what I mean? Even though, yes, it is essentially Brandon Johnson, like this reparation task force or whomever is behind this project, is kind of pigeonholing or like holding Black Americans, binding Black Americans to Chicago. But it's just, like I said, it's just like the most healthiest middle ground between giving money back to Black Chicagoans and also servicing the city of Chicago. You know what I mean? So that's probably gonna be that. That's like the big. That's probably one of my biggest hot takes here. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll kind of see what everybody else kind of think regarding this decision. All right. So let's see what else he has to say here.
The impact of this initiative will be momentous. It will reduce blighted and abandoned buildings along commercial corridors on the south and west sides, while also creating safer and more walkable communities. Local ownership will give residents more control over the product and services entering in our communities.
So that means I'm not gonna take too much of y'all time this time. But what that essentially means is there's been situations of food deserts spread throughout Chicago. And what a food desert is, it's not just the fact that you don't have like access to like whole food or viable grocery stores that with like viable food and healthy foods. It's the fact that if you're in an area that has like has like a low economy or a high poverty rate, is just gonna inspire like investors not to put money into your communities. You know what I mean? So that what that means is those individuals in that neighborhood are gonna have to travel farther to access good food, which is actually a financial burden. Like say like compared to like some individuals that may live like more towards the city, more towards the downtown area, they can like walk to the grocery store, you know, as opposed to a lot of us in Chicago that might have to travel like a certain amount of miles to actually reach the nearest grocery store, or at least a market with like actual fresh food, you know.
And worker co-op businesses will provide a path for generational wealth, helping employ people from around the city, but it will also help employees become owners and creators of wealth that they can pass on to the next generation.
Yes. Yes. This is like the stuff that Claude Anderson's been talking about. You know what I mean? Like this is like ownership, and the creation of generational wealth and keeping the money within the communities. This is stuff that Claude Anderson has been. This is stuff that Claude Anderson has been preaching about. Pretty much his entire professional life. You know.
Need a UGC video for your business? Find me and many other skilled creators on Fiverr, or you could.
Wealth Our Way will bring us closer to building the Chicago that our ancestors dreamed of. So please join me in recognizing and celebrating Community Desk Chicago President and CEO Janae DeFeo. Thank you, Janae, and the tremendous support that Wealth Our Way will bring to Black residents in reclaiming ownership of our own communities. That is the spirit of Juneteenth, you all. It is about reflecting on our past. Other cultures are taught to never forget. We need to be reminded as Blacks here in Chicago and America, remembering our past and working towards a more just future. Investing in Black is not a criminal act.
Amen.
Sister Zakiya says she need a witness, so I'm gonna say it again. Investing in Black is not a criminal act.
Yeah, I mean, because quite frankly, everybody else invests in themselves. You know what I mean? Every other group has invested in themselves, and if it's finally Black people's turn to invest in themselves, I say so be it, bro. Because if we don't invest in ourselves, who's gonna make that? Who's gonna in good faith make that type of investment in Black people? Like up to this point, the only people that have been up to this point, the only people that have been been pushed to invest in the Black communities have been had financial essentially kickbacks to let's put it this way. Up to this point, the only people that were pushed to invest in Black people are those individuals that were looking to extract wealth from Black people. You know what I mean?
So good to have your own Amen Corner show up right across from City Hall. I need you on Wednesdays again. So today we celebrate, we acknowledge Juneteenth, but let us continue to do the work to create a Chicago that is just for all. We are building the safest, most affordable big city in America, and we're doing it together. So in conclusion, I do want to recognize the three amazing leaders that have already left lasting contributions to our communities. I want to thank again Ms. Cassiopeia, Brother Payman, and my fellow Westsider and dear friend, Ms. Carol Johnson, for their dedication and commitment to our city. Come on, Chicago, please join me in celebrating these three incredible leaders.
Okay. Pretty sure that's the end of it. Pretty dope stuff. I pretty much said everything I needed to say throughout the video. So let's move on towards the explanation of this Invest in Black this grant essentially. So this is coming from the city of Chicago itself. So let's check it out. June 16, 2025, Mayor Johnson announces $4.11 million investment to community wealth building. The Department of Planning and Development is allocating grants of up to $500,000 for community investment vehicles and worker cooperatives in an effort to increase wealth in low and moderate income neighborhoods. The word vehicles here is not, let me show y'all what vehicles mean in this context, because I don't want, people, they say, like, bro, what kind of car, what kind of Lamborghini are y'all finna buy for? Like, how's Lamborghinis in the hood gonna increase the value of, or how's it gonna increase the wealth of these individuals? And you know what I'm trying to make. Give me a second. So yeah, a thing used for transporting. Yeah, this is not the definition we're using here. It is a thing to express, embody, or fulfill something. This is the type of vehicle that we're. This is the vehicle we're using. This is the definition of the vehicle we're using here. So let's put this. Just putting that out there. Where is that? Okay. So Chicago. At a flag-raising ceremony in honor of Juneteenth, Mayor Johnson announces $4.11 million investment to community wealth building to offer communities the opportunity to build financial wealth to prevent displacement. The Capital Grant Program will be administered by Wealth Our Way, WOW, a collaborative initiative developed by the Community Desk Chicago, the desk, which will offer technical assistance and coaching to selected commercial shared ownership models. As we celebrate Juneteenth, we are recommending, I can't read sometimes, ourselves to the critical work of repairing past harms through investment and opportunity, said Mayor Brandon Johnson. The work of repair and restoration is central to our mission. This is collective work that impacts our entire communities, so we are putting these funds to help build up collective ownership models in the neighborhoods that have been shut out for too long, seeded through $4.11 million City of Chicago investment. The Wealth Our Way, a capital grant program, provides both capital grants and technical coaching to commercial shared ownership models, specifically community investment vehicles, CIVs, and worker cooperatives, work co-ops. Our office is proud to have been part of an effort that places power, wealth, and resources into the hands of communities most impacted by disinvestment, modeling a new way to partner with communities to address root causes of economic inequities, said Chief Equity Officer Carla Coop. This investment will begin the work of repairing and restoring our communities. Very, very important stuff. Because like I said, focusing on the communities and focusing on investment in the communities is ultimately it's gonna serve two things. I know some people can have problems with one of the things that it serves. First of all, it is gonna serve the wealth of the people that live within the confines of these communities, but it's also gonna make those spaces more livable, make those areas more safe because of the wealth being generated in those areas. Dr. Claude Anderson kind of speaks of this, and many other people kind of speak of this. Black people money is like, black people's wealth is like liquid. We get it and it slips right between our fingertips. When you kind of create systems in which the money that's generated directly serves the people closest to it, that means you don't have to, again, like the situation I mentioned earlier about food deserts. You don't have to travel as far to get for services. You don't have to travel as far to go to work. The services that is within the community assist towards the taxes in your community. So which kind of brings down the property tax, which will kind of contribute towards the property taxes. You know what I'm saying? Even though, I mean, there's some back and forth regarding when people kind of come in and bring up that's conversation for another time. But still, like when businesses are able to contribute towards the property, contribute towards the taxes, that kind of puts a less burden on the residents paying property taxes. So it's a lot of ways that like local business can essentially serve the community. You know what I mean? And when I say serve the community, I'm talking about actually like help keeping money in your pocket. You know what I mean? Like that's what other better way can you serve your community than by offering by putting money in their pockets. So I mean, like I said, and when people within the community do well about a business, when the business is doing well, I mean that can inspire that business to start implementing sales and stuff like that and things of that nature. But even better, and this is something I want people to understand as well, when these businesses are being led by individuals that actually live in that community, and that then that would mean that money is not necessarily being extracted from that community. It's actually being perpetuated. It's actually being, yes, it is being sent towards like the person, the boss, the CEO or the person that runs the businesses. But that person also pays taxes within that village, within that town, and he's also contributing towards the economy by buying in person services and products within that territory, within that zone. So the phenomena of the money essentially bouncing back within the confines of the community happens. You know what I mean? Instead of that money just being extracted from these individuals that live in the community and going to like the head of Walmart or going to like Ronald McDonald or whomever. You know what I mean? So that's why that's why this platform will be super big on local business, promoting local businesses, because those local businesses, those mom and pop shops and things of that nature, those are the places that will best serve your communities. You know what I mean? Even though arguably like the big wig corporations, big wig businesses will likely pay more. But like if you kind of stick with it, those small businesses can pay. Will be able to pay competitive prices, competitive wages, and then that's when you pretty much locked in. That's when those businesses are essentially locked in and will be the best benefit, the best use of your dollar bill. Amongst all competitors within that given territory. Let me get back to reading this stuff. Innovative models for community well building, like the WOW program, are essential for creating resilient long-term investments where they're needed most, said Department of Planning and Development Commissioner Sierra Boatwright. And for anybody that don't know what that means, like what I just explained, literally what that means. Innovative models for community well building, like this program, is essential for creating. Like that literally means that when you invest in this local businesses when the people within that area invest their hard-earned money in those local businesses, that local business has its own ways of servicing those people in the community, not just by the products they service or the services that they provide. It's also, again, there's subtle, like secondary ways that it service those communities as well. Anyway, community well building. Many low and moderate income neighborhoods, especially those on the south and west sides of Chicago, have been disinvested in by the public and private sectors. As a result, many residents do not own or control assets in their neighborhood: businesses, home, land, commercial property, etc. Exactly. I want, if I can squeeze this little detail in as well, it especially applies to the land ownership or like property ownership. We have too many properties owned by individuals that don't live in these communities or in Chicago at all, maybe even this country. You know what I mean? And when we have like landowners or landlords that don't live in this country, that's just a way of our money being extracted out of our own country. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like that's kind of something to kind of look out for, like owning our own, properties, homes, businesses, etc. is very monumental. It's very important towards the maintenance of wealth within these neighborhoods. So anyway, CIVs are commercial shared ownership models that allow residents to own and control neighborhood assets. The city's improved investment will be leveraged to attract community development financial institution, CDFI, and philanthropic. Geez, I need to do better. Philanthropic investments to support up to 10 models across Chicago. These models will demonstrate the impact of shared ownership in under-resourced neighborhoods. Shared ownership, yeah, I think this is group economics here. Shared ownership is like essentially like multiple individuals coming together to own one thing, right? So, and I think that's good. I think a lot of people, especially Black Americans, need to understand that a shared ownership thing is that definitely something that we can definitely need to learn how to get used to doing. You know what I mean? Because it's something that's been practiced. It's something that's been practiced in other ethnicities all throughout time. And it's like basically the more people. The more the merrier, essentially. You know what I mean? Like it's easier to maintain a property, maintain a business when multiple people are contributing towards contributing towards these endeavors than just one person being in charge of it all. You know what I mean? The ultimate goal of the Wealth Our Way initiative is to shift power in neighborhoods to the hands of the varied residents who have remained grounded in their community's identity and are ready to write a new story for the generations to come after them, said Community Desk CEO President Jeanette DeFeo. Selected CIVs and worker cooperatives will be awarded WOW capital grants for up to 75% of the total project cost for their real estate project, with a maximum award size of $500,000. Up to $3.5 million of WOW capital grants may be awarded. WOW capital grants are one-time awards that must be expended by December 31st, 2026. So this money got to go. The money has to go by December 31st of 2026. So I mean, like, look, if you have a business and you qualify, please reach out to these people to get this money, because we don't want this money to just go away. I mean, I got a little, you dig down here, you know what I mean? So I don't know, maybe I can hit them up for like a camera or something like that. I don't know. we'll see how that goes, I guess. But this money gotta go. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, shit. If they got like a couple $1,000s, you know, at the end of it, and they don't know what to do with it, yeah, you damn right. I'm gonna get a piece. I'm gonna get a cut of that. So anyway, yeah. So the WOW framework provides the necessary technical resources to help ensure success as communities design wealth building models their way. In addition to receiving funding, WOW grantees will participate in a set of interrelated activities that support the progress and success of their model and their real estate project over the course of 16 months, September 2025 to December 2026. Participant activities will include a work plan, organizing and executing key project tasks through a structured plan to help ensure long-term success, technical and operational support, monthly engagement with the operations coach and a real estate coach, launch support, access to bank office investment services, and third-party educational resources on financial literacy, wealth building, and community engagement. Knowledge and networks, participation in the CWB Community of Practice, COP, to share lessons learned and best practices with peers and national experts. Capital coordination, connections to local and national philanthropy, community development and financial institution, CDFIs, and other flexible capital sources. For more information, hit this link. So, I definitely think that last part is super duper important, and I know some people may have a problem with this part of it. It seems to be this additional, like this whole section here regarding like the classes and being a part of like the network of things and being part, essentially being involved in the culture or in the community of grantees of this project. This, I think, is a good thing that they're being coached throughout this entire process, because I want to say one of the best, what's the word I'm going to use? One of the best words of advice I've received is, you don't know what you don't know. So like, it's one thing to have a skill set. It's one thing to have an idea. It's one thing to have a product. If you don't have a proper business acumen, if you don't have a good moral compass that is geared towards wealth acquisition and good business, and when I say good business, I'm talking about sustainable business, then all those things mean nothing. And if if they're gonna pay people to be coaches and create multiple avenues of like strategies that can assist your businesses, I think that's super duper beneficial. So like it essentially, of all the generations of studied science that's relegated to like a good bit, like what's the word I want to use? Successful business. Sorry. Then like those, you have to give people all the resources necessary to maximize their chances of being a self-sustainable, successful business, not just for themselves but for the communities as well. You know, so I think this part, I mean, even though people may turn their nose up at it, like why do I gotta talk to these people? Why do I gotta go outside of my comfort zone? Why do I have to change what I got going on to in order to receive this money for my business? Not what you gotta, first of all, they have to know that you're serious about all of this stuff. And there needs to be some level of uniform as far as the business modules, and that's specifically tailored towards the development of our communities, and not just the development of like everybody's individuals pocketbooks or bank statements and things of that nature. Like this needs to be a community effort, not an individualistic effort. So I very much so approve of like this additional step that individuals have to take in order to receive this money. You know what I mean? It just maximizes chances of success in my humblest opinion. So this is the Community Chicago website that speaks directly of the WOW project. So let's kind of take a look at what's going on, what they're. Let's take a look at what they're about. Well, I think we can just click this link right here actually, if it works. Is my internet working? Oh, there we go. Now it's working. Okay, so Wealth Our Way. About Wealth Our Way. This is a growing national movement towards intentional local ownership. Communities are leveraging shared ownership models to launch businesses and to raise capital to acquire the control key real estate assets. This form of community capital pooling serves as an alternative funding mechanism to traditional lending and investments. Yeah, because traditional lending and investments will usually mean, paying people back depending on your credit, an APR rate that just may not be favorable towards you and also your community. You know what I mean? So if we can get these grants and not have to pay back any sort of like money, any sort of what's the word? Interest payments and stuff like that, then it's a win-win, dude. Like as far as the individuals that want to create something to, like I said, serve the communities. Wealth Our Way is a collaborative initiative designed to support communities in launching wealth building models based on their terms that advance their quality of life, build wealth, and shift power dynamics in their neighborhoods. As part of the WOW initiative, capital grants are available up to $500,000 to support commercial shared ownership models. Learn more. So, there's a download for this as well. I'm gonna check this out. Up to $500,000 in capital grants are available to support commercial shared ownership modules. Why do I keep saying modules? What's wrong with me, bro? Models, specifically community investment vehicles and worker co-ops. Complete the WOW Capital Grant Program questionnaire to confirm eligibility to apply. Applications opens June 16th. 2025 at 8 a.m. Central Time. Online information session. It starts June 24th, 2025. You can register now. Applications close July 31st. Participants notification as early as September 2025. And program kickoff will be late September 2025. I imagine they forgot the 5 here. So let's download the funding opportunity below. I think it's just gonna be this is a questionnaire, basically. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what that is. So our partner, Wealth Our Way, is funded through Build Better Together. Build Better Together is Mayor Brandon Johnson's comprehensive economic development strategy, driving growth in each of Chicago's 77 communities. Build Better Together leverages the foundation set by the Housing and Economic Development Bond and cuts the tape along with other tools at the city's disposal to execute on key projects for our communities based on 3 foundational pillars: quality and affordable housing for all, business innovation and job growth, neighborhood investments, and vibrant communities. Wealth Our Way WOW overview. Many low and moderate income neighborhoods, especially those in the south and west sides of Chicago, have been disinvested in by the government and private sector. As a result, these residents do not own or control many of the assets in their neighborhoods: businesses, homes, land, commercial property, etc. Residents in these neighborhoods are excluded from opportunities to build financial wealth, often shut out of development decisions, and can be at risk of displacement. Wealth Our Way is a collaborative initiative developed by Community Desk Chicago, the desk, to support communities in launching wealth building models. Oh my, I'm gonna destroy myself. Based on their terms that advance their quality of life, build wealth, and shift power dynamics in their neighborhoods. Seeded through a $4.11 million City of Chicago investment, the WOW Capital Grant Program provides both capital grants and technical coaching to commercial shared ownership models that promote ownership and control the business and community assets, specifically community investment vehicles, CIVs, and worker cooperations, work co-ops. Okay, so funding opportunity. Selected CIVs and worker co-ops will be awarded WOW Capital grants for up to 75% of the 75% of their total project cost for their real estate project. So that I'm pretty sure that's like the development of their buildings and stuff like that. And with a maximum award size of $500,000, up to $3.5 million of WOW Capital grants may be awarded. WOW Capital grants are one-time awards that must be expended by December 31st, 2026. WOW program activities. Oh, this is the, we can go through this again. The WOW Capital Grants Program provides structured technical coaching, capital coordination, and other related resources to support launch of both worker co-ops and CIVs across the city of Chicago. The WOW framework provides the necessary technical resources to help ensure success in communities design wealth building models their way. In addition to receiving funding, Wealth Our Way grantees will participate in the interrelated activities that support the progress and success of their CWB model and their real estate project over a course of 16 months, September 25 to December 2026. Participants' activities will include work plan, organizing and executing key projects through a structured work plan to help ensure long-term success, technical and operational support, monthly engaging with an operations coach and a real estate coach, launch support, access to back office investment, what do they mean by that? Access to back office investment services and third-party educational resources to financial literacy, wealth building, and community engagement. Sound like they're teaching the tricks of the trade. Knowledge and networks, participation in a CWB community of practice, COP, to share lessons learned and best practice with peers and national experts. Capital coordination and connections to the local and national philanthropy, community development, financial institutions, CDFIs, and other flexible capital sources. For more information, please download the WOW Capital Grant Program funding opportunity to view eligible criteria for more details of the program. If you are interested in participating in the program, please complete the WOW Capital Grant Program questionnaire and determine if your organization is eligible to apply. So let's check this out. Let's check out the questionnaire. So, Wealth Our Way WOW Capital Grant Program questionnaire. League organization. Please identify the lead organization or legal entity of the proposed project that is applying for the grant on behalf of the shared ownership model. How long is this? Not that bad. That's not that bad at all. This is like extremely short in my opinion. Make sure I get each other. Okay. So organization name. So for this we will be. I'm not gonna fill this out. I don't. Well, actually, hell, if we do a qualified, hell, I probably would mess around and go for it. Let me see. Chicago Black Delegation, entity type, for profit, nonprofit. That's a good question. For right now, we'll say for profit, even though we don't get no money. Address. Well, I'm not putting an address out there just yet. Street address line 2, city. I mean, this is like basic stuff. EIN number. Please enter the 9-digit number. Enter numbers only, no special characters. So yeah, your EIN number. Well, anybody that owns a business knows what EIN number is. Your website. So project point of contacts. Please identify the individual leading the proposed project. This individual must have authority to enter into a grant agreement if selected. So name, title, email, date, time, phone. Is your organization applying as a CIV or a worker co-op? Does your project have a shared ownership component? So I mean, do you have partners essentially? Community ownership, worker ownership, neither or both? Does your project have a site identified? I don't know what he mean by this. Is this a website, or do they have like are they talking about like a location that they are ready to that are ready to build upon? Anyway, does your project include commercial uses? The program is designed for commercial uses only. Residential units are only acceptable as part of a mixed-use development. I wonder what they mean by this. We'll have to get to. Let me see what Google knows about a mixed-use development. Mixed-use development in business refers to projects that combine different types of land uses, such as residential, commercial, retail, and even industrial, within the same building or development area. This approach is becoming increasingly popular in urban planning and real estate development, offering a range of benefits for various stakeholders. Key aspects of mixed-use development: integration of uses, economic benefits, sustainability, social interaction, diversified revenue streams, examples of mixed-use development, benefits for investors, reduced risk, higher income, longer leases, lower competition, benefits for communities, increased convenience, enhanced social interaction, improved sustainability, economic growth, challenges of mixed-use development, complexity in design and construction, potential for conflicts, economic viability. Overall mixed-use development offers a comprehensive approach to urban planning and real estate development, providing numerous benefits for investors, communities, and the environments. Okay. So what is the anticipated start date of construction of the property? So yeah, basically, if you're serious about your business, you can sign up for this, and they can approve of you. They may give you a lot of money, and it can make your life a lot easier to get your business started. And this money has to be spent by a certain year. So I'm just put it out there, bro. If you know somebody that you think this could be a good fit for, share this information with them. I don't care if it's this video per se. It'd be nice if it'd be this video that you share with them. But yeah, just go to the site and then send a link their way and have them read it and help them understand it a little bit better. And not only will they be receiving money to start their projects, but they will also be receiving like free coaching. You know what I'm saying? And to help them maximize the wealth generation of their businesses. So, I mean, though, this is like a win-win on top of a win, in my opinion. And I think, I think Black Chicagoans across Chicago need to work double time at taking full advantage of this program. I don't know what else to say. This is good. This is a good first start for a reparations agenda in Chicago. And mind you, as Brandon Johnson stated, this is not the only thing that they've achieved for as far as this, reparations. I'm sorry, this is not the only thing that is going to come from this reparations task force. They're only getting started. As a matter of fact, they didn't even tell us the names of the people, of the individuals that would be a part of the reparations task force yet. This is just a completely different project that Brandon Johnson is awarding the people of Chicago. That again will benefit not just the Black Americans of Chicago, but arguably every Chicagoan as a whole. If only off the merit of when these areas that have been disinvested in throughout this city's like history finally being invested in, and them being essentially restored to its former glory. And that will also mean opportunities for the kids of those neighborhoods, so they can have something to do outside of like this being a disruption towards the city Chicagoans and business owners. That is his argument towards addressing the problem, the problematic youth in Chicago. And honestly, I believe in it. So I don't know what to say here. Again, I very much so believe in. I very much so am happy that he's taking this route. I'm very happy of the things that I read in this grant, and I believe there'll be some great things that's gonna kind of come from it. So, otherwise, yeah, it's been Chicago Black Delegates podcast, and yeah, I very much so hope you all share this information with individuals throughout the city, because this is the stuff. This is the agenda that needs to be talked about a lot. It's the stuff that that everybody, like all these black leaders you can think of, even especially the ones that's been extremely critical of the Democratic Party. This is the type of stuff that they need to be talking about. And again, this is just the beginning for as far as the reparations race in the city of Chicago. Okay, so I think that's a good place to kind of end it off at. It is 3 a.m. here in in Chicago, and the Central Time Zone. So I don't know what to say. Like I don't know. This is some good stuff. I love it. I love to see it. I mean, the fact that this is just this is the beginning, and then we're gonna get a study. We're gonna get a reparations task force finally being instated, and then for them to kind of study see what's gonna happen, see what's going on in the city, and then for them to create craft a bill that is fair to not just Black Americans, descendant of slaves, but also everybody. I mean, all individuals within the state of Illinois. You know what I mean? So I think this is going to be something very monumental towards the sustainability of Black Americans in the city of Chicago, because there very much so is a very real reality of gentrification and the pushing out of Black Americans in the city of Chicago. That is very much so a thing that's actually happening, and it's really good. It's really good to see Mayor Brandon Johnson, who was heavily scrutinized by Black Americans in the past several months, actually do something additional on top of the things that he provided, that he helped Black Americans with, yeah, it's good to see him do even more to assist with the sustainability of Black communities in this great city. So again, I very much so appreciate everybody that was that contributed towards the discussion, especially in the comment section, in the chat. For everybody that watches this on the replay, I appreciate y'all watching this as well. It's been a higher thing of the Chicago Black Delegation Podcast, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace out.